Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ESTA Talks, always at ESTA time. Sunday, 3 o'clock in Portugal, 4 o'clock Central Europe time, 5 o'clock Finland. Today, we have a very special guest with us. It's Clarien Zetsma. She is our treasurer at the Central Board of ESTA International. She is already in this position serving for 8 years. And she will come here to tell us about herself, tell us about her thoughts and her experiences teaching and playing cello because she's a Dutch cellist, a Dutch teacher. She's based in Netherlands. She works there. I know she also organizes concert series. She's very active in Dutch branch of ESTA. So welcome, Clarien.
Hi.
Hi, Clarien. Would you like to share with us uh, your memories from the time you start to learn cello? How it was? You were in the Netherlands. How it was in that days to learn music?
Yeah, sure. The first question I always get is, why do you play cello? And the answer is because a good friend of mine played the cello. So didn't have anything to do with the sound or with the size, or it was the friendship. And that was a very good choice because the cello department of our music school in Amersfoort, where we will have the conference this year, was a very active one. And we also had, which is nowadays still going on, different levels of orchestras. So you had an orchestra for the very young ones and an orchestra for the grown-ups. And in the first days, we did have lessons together. So I think it was an hour sharing with the two students. One teacher, two students, 1 hour together for the first year. And it seems that the level of the student after 1 year was not very equal. So we separated. And I think from then on, we had 1 hour a week on our own. But the student who came afterwards, we shared another quarter of an hour, so 20 minutes, to play duets, which is always very, very nice. And
How old were
this,
you when you started?
yes, this was when I was 10, 11, 12 years, I think. And then in the meantime, we could join the orchestra, which was also once a week, 2 hours on an evening, with 2 or 3 concerts, I don't know, per year. I'm not don't know exactly. And that went on during my whole school time, so till you are 18, something like that. And then, of course, there came a choice. I'm going to university or I'm going to conservatory. I went to university. I didn't go to the conservatory. I did it later on. When I was working, I went to conservatory. So during the time for my university, I had a chance to go to all the student orchestras in the Netherlands, because in the Netherlands I think it's very exception in most countries. We have so many amateur playing people and so many orchestras. We still have, actually. It's a bit less, but we still have. So there are, in any town where is a university, there is a student orchestra. And even if there is not a student orchestra in a town, you can join the Dutch student orchestra. There are several. There are chamber music orchestras. There are symphony orchestras. There are even jazz orchestras and many more. So actually, this is a very good deal to get to know more people, to play together, to have the joy of making music. Excellent. But then I wanted more. So I went to Conservatorium and I have been teaching all my time. And now here comes my first, can you read it? It's 1992. It's the ARCO, which is the, how you call it?
The magazine.
Journal, yes, of the magazine from the Dutch ESTA. Because
So, how old were you in this year? Maybe 2 years old. You are still young.
1992, I was 24, something like that.
So you were already in the conservatory, or are you still in
Yes.
the university?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time?
yeah. Yeah. Because 92 was my teacher was Ben de Licht. I don't know, maybe Geza, you know him.
Yes, very well.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And he was the president of ESTA Netherlands. And he said that all his pupils should be member of ESTA. So no choice. No choice.
It was an easy choice.
But actually it was far too late. I recommend that all people who play a string instrument should become a member of the local ESTA branch, because it gives you so much. We have a very nice magazine, but even if you don't have a magazine, there will be workshops or lessons or get-togethers or all the stuff. So I tell you something.
So tell me, let's go back a little bit, Clarien.
Okay.
Just because this is really interesting, this orchestra system.
Yeah.
That I think many places they want also to do, but maybe we can show more details that inspire people. So let me know who were the organizers of these orchestras. Normally,
Well, in that time, it was partly organized by the music school and partly a different organization, but they work very closely together.
And was sponsored by who?
You mean the conductor?
Yes.
Yes, the conductor was, and Geza may also know him, Kwie van Woerdenkom.
Yeah, but who was the company? Who was the state support?
No, it is, and it still is. It is the local government.
Okay.
From the city. So they organize it together with the music school, and also the music school is subsidized by the city, which is still in Amersfoort the case. In most cities, it doesn't exist anymore. That is how it works today. But in Amersfoort, it's still there. In Amstelveen, in Eindhoven, you know, there's some places in Holland where it still exists. And it seems that in those places, there are also these orchestras.
So it's a decision by the city to have or not to have an orchestra.
Yes. And of course,
and how it was to come in? You need to audition?
Well, in the first orchestra, I don't think so. If you play 1 year, you could enter. But in the second, yes, you have to do an audition. But because of the teachers, all the teachers, you know, the violin teachers and the cello teachers work very closely together with this conductor. If the teacher says you can join, it's mostly okay. You have to do the audition, but you know on forehand that you will enter the orchestra. So it's less nervous.
Oh, great. But
which
in
is
that
important,
orchestra,
I think, for the children. You know, it shouldn't be a fight, something like that.
And were the orchestra rehearsing in the music school or in a different building?
No, in that
Yeah.
time, in the music school.
Yeah, so it was like one more activity of the school. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And some words about the music school, because I think it was a very, very nice building. Amersfoort is an old city, a medieval city. And in one of those buildings used to be the music school. But so you had the atmosphere of an old building of culture, the stairs, which were a bit tricky, yeah, you check, 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 check. And of
Yeah.
course, from one room to the other, you could hear all the others. So, of course, not excellent for a music school, but the atmosphere was wonderful. And I think it's very important to have such a building for an art education, you know, whether it's music or different arts. And nowadays, well, you will see the new building when you come to the conference. It is quite different. It's a modern building, of course, very much better for the music school, but the atmosphere is different, which is
Well, we all will see. I think
yeah.
everybody must go to
Yeah.
Amerford. There's nothing more to do than go to Amerford in May.
That's right.
That's
I can
it.
show you maybe the
Forget.
old building. We
Yeah.
make a little walk through the city.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Promised.
That's set up. Okay. Everybody go to Clarien in Amerford.
Yeah,
Last week of May.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great. Clarien, so if I ask you one of the best memories you had during your school years, let's say uh, before 18 years old.
Okay. Connecting to the cello, I suppose.
Yes, with the cello and the music
The
school
cello
or
at me.
music teacher. Yes, you.
Well, I remember very strongly one moment. It was actually in the orchestra. We had to have separate rehearsals, you know, all the cellos and all the violins and violas. And I was very nervous for it. I thought I couldn't make it. So at home I was crying and I didn't want to go. And my mother asked me, what's going on? Why do you want to go? And I said, well, I can't, I don't think I can do it. I can't play. So she phoned the conductor and he was a very diplomatic, pedagogic person. And he said, it's no problem, just let her come and she will make it. And that's what happened. And that's why I'm still playing the cello. So thanks to this conductor, I'm still playing. Yeah.
Well, so maybe it's important to have some skills in pedagogy. Yeah?
Really, really.
That
And
makes
now,
sense.
yes, yeah. And that is, I think, also very important that conservatives have a certain department for people who want to teach,
Mm-hmm.
this pedagogic skills. I don't know if it happens in Portugal, but in Holland it's very rare and very minimum that they do it, which is a shame.
Yeah. So in this way of thinking, try to remember which would be the worst detail or well a pedagogic mistake that was like happened that time that you would like to change, for example.
Well, I think there are two phases in a life where it's very important that you get the encouragement to go on. And one is, of course, when you're 14, 15, 16 years old. And the other when you're going to out of your home and go on yourself and make your study and your life and so on. So if you can encourage people in those two phases of their life, you have them forever. And I think it's very important for the teachers that they realize those two things. If there's a period that people don't want to practice and they only want to play outside or be on their telephone or whatever, then you have to know how to manage this and get the children through this period, which you probably
14,
can do
you
by
say?
playing
14,
together.
15.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So I remember my father taking me apart. Why are you not practicing? If you're not practicing, you're out. Okay, he only had to do that once. So I was ever in forever. And on the other hand, I remember during the time in Conservatorium, we went with a group of cellists to France and to have a wonderful playing time together, playing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cellos together, had a wonderful time. So there are good periods and bad periods, but the good survive. Yes, yeah.
So now that you are a teacher,
well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Huh? You are not teaching now. Yeah.
Not anymore. No. But I have been teaching children, and I know that different. I did also come to the student orchestras and play still, and so I'm very, very happy with that. Yeah.
So, but during your period, like a teacher, let's see, what could you recognize that you do similar to your teacher, and what you try to avoid to do like he was doing?
Well, what I did, okay. What I certainly did do is play together with them. I let them play together with 2, 3, 4. And during the lessons, I played duets together with my pupils, always. And that was what my first teacher did, and I took it because it's so great. Playing together that's what life is. And then
so that's something that you would recommend to your students.
Yeah.
To do with their students.
Yeah. But it was a she. What she didn't do is when we had an evening and we had to perform all our little pieces for the parents, that this person didn't play herself. And I always found that a shame. I thought, why are you not playing? No. So when I had my students and we had a sort of evening playing, I always played a small piece myself, as an example. So I think that's also nice.
Yeah,
so one good
great.
thing and one bad thing.
Yeah. And when did you play? In the beginning or in the end of the concert?
Before the break.
Before the break.
So not at the end. On the end was with all the pupils together.
Okay.
Because it's their party, yeah? It's their party. Yeah.
So how much students you used to have at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. I had my other work and my teaching practice, so maybe 15, something like that.
15. Okay.
Yeah, and well, every week, so that's not very much. No, but enough to have the joy of it.
Okay, great. So let's go back to ESTA. So when your teacher gave you Arco, the Dutch magazine from ESTA, Maybe it was the first time you thought about teaching, or you already was thinking about.
Well, that's funny because it was exactly the same time. Because this teacher said, the more you teach, the better you play yourself. So he said, please do. So that was actually also the time I started teaching. It was at the same time, so 92. And there's a very funny thing I wanted to share with you in this article. Because all the people, well, the presidents used to write a word on forehand. And what he wrote in that time, it's 92. And then you have to know that the Dutch people are very good in complaining and mourning and grumbling, the society, you know. So he writes, conservatories complain that there is a gap between music school training and admission to the professional study. You know, so the music school doesn't fit exactly to the conservatory. But music schools complain that the graduates from the conservatory are not really good teachers.
Oh.
And orchestras complain that the graduates from the conservatories are not very well ready for playing in the orchestra. So that was 92. And I'm afraid not much has changed. Because we still don't have, at least in Holland, that the conservatories, they teach you to be an excellent player, and they don't teach you for being a teacher yourself, or especially train to you for an orchestra job. It is the orchestras actually who train the people for being a good orchestra member. So he was very, how you call it? It was like a ball he watched, and it's actually still the same. So I think there's still a very good reason for ESTA to be in contact and speak to teachers, conservatory teachers, to change this a little.
But I guess nowadays the students are in a good level to go in the conservatory.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, so this has changed. Yeah?
Yes, that
I
has
think
changed.
conservatories cannot complain now about music schools, I would say.
Yeah, no, that
the level is much higher.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Yeah.
So let's say
was,
if I can make summarize this, that conservatories are getting better students, but they are not teaching them to teach and to play in orchestra. So the problem, it was not the level of the students.
No, that's right.
So we must say that. Well, I am a teacher in conservatory. I have to take care about that. So what would you propose to change?
Well,
something in the curricula, for sure, in the curricula or in the practice.
No, well, we are not a very big country, you know, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 conservatories, which is quite a lot. So I strongly would recommend that there's some of them who specialize in teaching.
Okay.
Why not? Why?
So students should decide. Well, I don't know. This for me not so clear. That's a good idea. Because but we can debate this a little bit. So what you are saying, that it means that one student with 18 years old or 19 years old should decide if he wants to be a musician or to be a teacher?
Well, the education in the conservatory is in 2 steps, eh? The first is the bachelor, and then you have the master.
The master, yeah.
Which was in 92, of course, not the case, but now it is. So maybe one thing is that the bachelor is just general, and then in the master you could choose for either
Yes.
this or
This
that.
I would say is better.
Yeah.
Because maybe 18 years old is too soon to decide.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe nobody with 18 years old want to decide to be a teacher and
That's
not a
right.
musician.
But at the other hand, if you decide to be a cellist or violinist, it's very hard to get a job, unless being a teacher.
So, yeah. So maybe it's also a good idea. And about the orchestra playing, why do you think is the conservatories are not making a good job on that?
Well, I don't exactly know how it is nowadays, but I know from then that I think every conservatory has an orchestra. But in my days, I know that students didn't like to play in the orchestra. They want to practice and practice and practice and be the soloist from the year, you know? And the orchestra was less important. So I don't know why, why? Because playing together and learning in the orchestra is, great. So,
Yeah, and it's especially in a country like Holland that you told that there's so many orchestras during the young time.
Yeah.
So why these students don't want to
play in the conservatory orchestra? I don't know. I have no idea. Actually, I hope it has changed, but I'm not sure. I hope. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, in my school it changed a lot.
Great.
Our students now they play a lot in the orchestra on many different programs, and we find this problem. And we decide the mission of our conservatory is learn by doing. So if they need to learn, they need to do so.
Yeah.
So
Learning by doing. Can I remind you of this one? Do you remember?
Yes. Go on. Yeah. Go on.
This was Rotterdam. This was Rotterdam. This was 2014. No, 2004. Sorry, 2004. Rotterdam. And this was where Roland, you remember Roland? Robert?
Paul Roland, yeah?
Yeah, he was president from ESTA Netherlands then, and helping organizing the ESTA conference in Rotterdam. And I think it was his idea to have an orchestra with all the ESTA members for playing together and being together. So this is what you said, playing together and doing it together. We tried to do that in Rotterdam as well. And I think it was a success. Everybody liked it. And it was again in different conferences that we had orchestras.
That's a good idea. Will that be in Amerfurt again?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not in the organizing. I don't know.
Well, we did it in Porto, but I think Gaza don't want to repeat.
Yes, and I think we did it in Middelburg as well. But I'm not sure.
In Middelburg, I remember in Middelburg it was a lot of workshops that people play together.
Yes.
To learn pieces. For young orchestras.
That's right.
The way to learn it was by playing together. I remember this.
Yeah, that was actually also the title. Do it yourself.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
So, once ESTA is trying to get more and more young members, tell us your experience like a young student in ESTA Netherlands. When you came in 1992, You arrive there, you see all the teachers there. They were. What was your thoughts? How did you feel integrated or not? What?
Well, to be honest, I was a sort of sleeping member,
Uh,
reading the magazines. But as soon as the conference in Rotterdam started, I was involved and being an active member. And I remember that we had this issue as well, how to get the ESTA members and new younger ESTA members into the orchestra or into the organization and into the conference. So we had many volunteers, which is a very good idea to get them involved. And I felt on a sort of advertisement in the Rotterdam booklet. I forgot it, but I remember it. We gave a present to persons who brought in a new member.
mm,
A CD with Dutch compositions, violin and cello. Nice idea.
it
I
was
don't know if it worked, but it's a nice idea. Now it's
maybe
from all the times that there is that it's difficult to get young persons. I know that in the Dutch committee, in the Dutch board, it's always a young professional, which is a good idea. But that's only one person, you know, you want to attract more, of course. Difficult. And I think it's not only in ESTA. My husband is involved with the organization from the keyboard instruments, and they have the same. It's very hard to have the young persons to the organization. They don't want to be fixed to us. I don't know what but it's hard. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how is to be a Dutch ESTA member nowadays.
Great.
So how
Great.
you live this? You make normally people join how many times a year or in each ways? Well, you have the magazine. This is
Yeah.
very nice and a very nice magazine. Everybody
Yeah.
knows. But after that,
Yeah.
how it works?
There's the magazine 4 times a year, and it's excellent. It looks nice. It's very interesting to read. I read it always from the beginning to the end. And I think twice a year there is a day with workshops, things. We try to put it in different parts of the country, you know, so that you attract people from the north and from the south. Although Holland isn't very big, in this case it's very big. So that's what we try to do. And there you meet, of course, people. And the last 10, 15 years, I think there was each time quite a good delegation from Dutch ESTA members to the international conferences. And that makes, you know, if you do it together, then it's fun to go and you learn and you talk and you make new friends, new ESTA friends. In Holland, I have, well, at least a couple of ESTA friends I see regularly. I play with them. You know, we make chamber music. And international, I don't play together with them, but I chat with them. So I recommend a membership from ESTA. Yeah.
So
Always
do you
nice
feel?
people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how you feel the Dutch ESTA nowadays? It's in good shape, or it is finding difficult issues? Well, the question is
Especially,
more for the question is more concerning the future. Like, how would you see ESTA in 10 years? Let's say. Let's say.
yeah. Well, I find, and what I said, it's not only ESTA, but it's different organization.
Mhm.
Although Holland is a very volunteering country, you know, we have many, many volunteers on many levels, many branches in the society. It's hard to attract people for doing, you know, yeah, doing things. So I think international, I think what we're doing now on internet with Zoom is very, very important. You meet people and it's easy. It's very easy to meet each other. I hope that the international conferences can keep going on each year. Each year, it's very important. Regularity is very important. And I think the talks like we have now and the president's meetings, which are online, is a sort of glue to stay together.
Mm.
But, you know, as you see in the world, it's important to stay together. But if we can, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But,
Well,
yeah.
when do you think it will happen that a robot will teach children to play?
Well, there are, of course, many people who learn playing an instrument from YouTube films. Many. Piano, guitar, cello, I'm not sure, but they do. So if you consider that as a robot,
So maybe do you think it's possible that in 20 years ESTA will be more a meeting with
AI.
engineer, informatic engineer to program robots for a good teaching or?
Well, actually, I think it's not a very bad idea to work together with engineers to do this sort of thing. That might be an opportunity. I have not the experience, but I think it's not a bad idea at all.
But what do you think? It's real that it will change. It's real that something will happen, and we teacher will be somehow substituted or not.
Well, in the end, of course not. But it technical support can be a great help.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we are using already.
Yeah. 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 But no, the personal contact, you cannot substitute it. No. No. And
Okay, I think we are coming to the end of our ESTA talk. We try to keep the time not
yeah.
long to make it wide and nice. So to end and before opening questions for our friends that are together with us, just I don't know if you if I would ask you to give a tip to a younger teacher, what you would you say to her or he?
Well, play as much together as you can with friends and with your students.
Well, thank you very much, Clarien. That's a great tip. And we can feel you believe in it. So, dear friends, we have Clarien with us. So, ask her everything what you want. Geza, yes?
Yeah, your teacher was the president of Holland, ESTA. and he was a very good cellist and wonderful president. At that time, it was the 80s. Then he was very, very active, and then he became a Baroque specialist. What is he doing now? Why is he not anymore active?
Well, it's partly because of his health. And he had for a long time this youth orchestra in up in the north, which he was conducting, and because of his health, he's not playing anymore. So he's enjoying life.
Hopefully he will be invited now to Amersfoort, and then we can see him, because he was doing a great job for Holland ESTA.
Maybe I don't know, but of course I can ask him if he likes to come and to visit us. Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. Good idea.
Roberto Benzi is this name.
Ben, yeah.
Yes. Did you play with Benzi?
Benzi?
Roberto Benzi, Italian.
No.
But he was in Holland.
Yeah, no. No.
So, anybody else want to say something to Clarien? Peyud, go on.
Hello.
One more. Continue to being our treasure 1 year more.
Yes, how did you read my mind? Clarien, it has been so lovely to have the opportunity to get to know you, and I really feel sad if you really are leaving now. Yeah. But of course, yeah. I understand, and I hope all the best wishes for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Are you coming to Amersfoort?
Yes, I will come.
Good. So we see and meet. Yeah. Great.
Yes. Great. You know, I lived 3 years in Amsterdam.
Good.
As a student. Did you know Mr. Lieberman, Victor Lieberman? Did you know him?
No, I don't know him personally. No.
Yeah, he was my...
Yeah, your teacher. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see you in Amersfoort.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Great.
Thank you.
So, thank you for being with us for one more ESTA Talk. Make sure you are up to date. Go to our website, estastrings.org. There you have always the ESTA Talks dates and also the workshop series that we continue next weekend with Geza. That is a really, really nice event that we are organizing here with the friends of the Central Board of ESTA International. So, see you next time, and be ready to see our secret person for the next ESTA Talks. We will announce in 1 or 2 weeks for you.
Okay, looking forward.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.